I just bought this Tesla Model 3 for only $12,600, and in this video I'm gonna explain exactly how I did it, and I'm also gonna explain why you should probably buy one too. All right, here she is. What a beauty. I promise I'll show you all around the car later in this video, but for now I need to hop in, warm up, and explain to you guys how I managed to buy this car for only $12,000. This is not clickbait, this is not a joke, this is all legit. Ooh, it's cold in California. All right, let the games begin. I'm gonna tell you this whole story. I just bought this thing not that long ago. Well, to be more exact, technically it's my girlfriend's car. I just helped orchestrate the deal, find the car, and handle all the paperwork on her behalf. But she is the actual owner of it. She's the one who registered it in her name with her tax information on all the documents, including the very important document which states that she gets $4,000 off the purchase price because she is eligible for the used EV tax credit put in place in 2023. I think it was 2022. So everybody knows about the EV tax credits that have been around for like many, many years. They've been around for a long time, but most people think the only tax credit you can get with an EV purchase is with a brand new car. And that's not true. I just said used EV tax credit. And this is something that not enough people are talking about. Model 3s and Model Ys are the best used car you can buy right now to have as a daily. I'm not saying it's the only car you should have in your stable. You should probably have a cheap Porsche Boxster right next to it, but that's the weekend car. And I've driven a lot of cars. I've owned a lot of cars. I currently have a lot of cars, and this is the car I always jump into. If you're new to the channel, my brother and I have had Teslas for a long time, since like 2016, our first Model X, and then after that, Model 3s. We had two Model 3s in 2018, and we still have our Model 3 Performance with free supercharging for life. It has like almost 100,000 miles. We've never paid a penny to charge that car. That's the daily driver, because it has free charging for life. Why wouldn't I drive a car that costs basically nothing to operate? So anyway, just to show that I'm not just pulling this out of thin air and making this video just for some clicks, as for a daily that is safe, efficient, practical, reliable, no maintenance required, cheap to operate, cheap to own, pleasant to drive, good for the environment, whatever you want to throw at it, the Model 3 does a lot of things really, really, really well, and I'll hit on them in this video. So anyway, I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and I was like, you know what? We need to get you a nicer, more reliable car with no maintenance. Her last gas car, this Cadillac that I got a good deal on, it was just starting to break down too often. The repair bills were really stacking up, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. For not that much more money, we can get you into a Model 3. Especially when I heard about this used tax credit, I'm like, Sasha, you qualify. That's $4 grand off, and these Model 3s are getting so cheap. This is a no-brainer. So I put the gears into motion. I listed her Cadillac for sale. I sold that. I took that money, added a little more cash, and went on the hunt to find a Model 3. And as you guys know, you can buy cars in a variety of different places, but Facebook Marketplace is probably the name of the game. You can definitely get some good deals if you're good at negotiating and you bring cash to the table. Actually, no, don't bring cash to this deal because you specifically want to get the tax credit, and you can't get the tax credit if you buy cash. Let me explain. The used EV tax credit is applicable for electric cars that are eligible, and of course the person buying it has to be eligible. Those two things combined. First off, the car has to have an out-the-door price of under $25,000. So $24,999 out the door, the car would qualify. If it is 2 model years old or more and on that original owner. So let me explain, it's a bit confusing. Now that it's in 2025, you can get a car from 2023, and as long as it's with the original owner, hasn't been transferred since then, it's eligible. 2022 also would be eligible, 2021, 2020, all the way back. Now, very importantly, the car does not have to be with the original owner if the car has not been transferred since August 16th of 2022. So what does that mean? Okay, say a 2018 Model 3 is available for sale and you're wondering if it qualifies. That car will for sure qualify if it's the original owner, great. But even if it's the second or third or fourth owner, it doesn't matter how many owners, so long as it hasn't transferred since August 16th, 2022. We'll get the tax credit of up to $4,000. It's not just $4,000 across the board. You can buy an old crappy Nissan Leaf for $4 grand and then get the car for free. No. It's 30% of the purchase price up to 4K. So those are the cars that are eligible. I hope that made sense. There are some third-party websites that I'll talk about in a minute that do the whole process, tell you if you're eligible and that if the car is eligible and handle all that, which I highly recommend. But if you want to try to manually see if the car is eligible, obviously just ask the owner, hey, when did you get the car? When did you register it? Real quick, guys, before we continue, I want to give a big shout out and thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Cook Unity. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love food. The problem is I rarely have the time to cook myself. And my other pet peeve is just how darn expensive food delivery and takeout have gotten. But don't worry, that is where Cook Unity comes in. Cook Unity is a chef-to-consumer platform that delivers freshly prepared, never frozen, restaurant quality meals directly to your door. They've partnered with over 90 chefs from top restaurants across the US to bring their signature dishes to your table every week. And don't worry, Cook Unity lets you pre-select what meals you want before they deliver them.
And boy, oh boy, do they have quite the selection to choose from. Get this, there's over 300 meals on their website, and they also have meals that fit your dietary preferences.
This week I went with the Korean brisket tacos by Chef Esther Choi, the chicken tikka masala by Chef Andres Mendez, and the filet mignon, just to name a few.
All you have to do is toss them in the microwave, and a couple minutes later, you're ready to enjoy. Oh, and the portion sizes are fantastic. So start your new year off right by enjoying high quality meals in the comfort of your home without the hassle of meal prep or cleanup, all while getting 50% off your first order when you use the promo code JRGarage50. Once again, that is cookunity.com/JRGarage50 to get 50% off your first order of chef prepared meals delivered straight to your door. Now, without further ado, back to the video. Person eligibility, I gotta hit on that too. Oh my gosh. Talk to your CPA, by the way. I'm not some tax attorney expert, not at all. This is not financial or tax advice, please. Person's eligibility, you have to make a total gross income of $75,000 if you are an individual filer, $150K if you're filing jointly, or $112,500 for head of households. I mean, all this stuff is very readable on the IRS website. Yes, it's a little confusing, but just in general, if you make $75K or less for that tax year that you're buying the car, you should qualify, okay? So long as you haven't done this already, now's the time to do it before they get rid of it. Who knows with this administration what's gonna happen? If I were you, I would take advantage of it now. Once you find a car that's eligible on Facebook or at a dealership or from Tesla, they have plenty that are eligible, then you go through with buying it. Now, there are two different ways you can do it. At the time of this filming, I swear they change this stuff every month. It's so confusing, but as of right now, there are two ways to do it. They just updated it in 2024 to allow a point of sale $4,000 deduction right off the price, right at signing, right on purchase day, which is so cool. Before, you had to save it for the end of the year when you file your taxes the following year, and then you get that 4K back, right? But here, they made a change to where it's POS, point of sale credit, which is huge. Basically, the dealer that you buy the car from, oh yeah, if I didn't mention already, you have to buy it from a dealer. That's where that Keysavvy website comes in, the middleman that takes care of everything. They act as the dealer. So yes, you can buy a private party used car, use Keysavvy, and then they act as a dealer in between and give you the point of sale $4,000 off. It's awesome, but I'll get into that in just a second. So yes, it has to be a dealer that's registered with the IRS, and some of those dealers will be approved to give this $4,000 point of sale immediate discount off the price. Basically, the IRS is giving them the chance to like take that money now, and as a result, just reduce that amount off the purchase price of the car since they're getting it up front. So a $20,000 Model 3 at that dealership, if they have the ability to take off the 4K POS at signing, then you only have to pay $16,000. They keep the 4K that the IRS gives them, and then your 16 gives them the full 20. So they're happy, they're whole. You get the 4K off at signing, so cool. It's a little confusing, but point is, you should really, I highly recommend this. I've done my due diligence. I've went down the rabbit hole for hours understanding all of this. I highly recommend when buying one of these cars for the used tax credit, you get the point of sale $4,000 deduction. Yes, you can go about it yourself, filing it the next year when you file your taxes, getting the 4K then. But of course, who doesn't want the 4K off now when you buy the car? But the problem with doing it yourself is that it gets very, very messy. And if everything isn't done perfectly, you will not be eligible for that 4K. There are so many people on Reddit and these forums who have gotten screwed because the dealer that they bought the car from didn't submit the proper paperwork to the IRS, matching up with their paperwork when they go to take the deduction on their taxes, and they end up getting completely screwed out of the 4,000 bucks. That's why I stress, if you're gonna do this, I highly recommend getting the point of sale credit so that you don't have to deal with any of the headache later on, right? So like I said, certain dealers are approved to give the point of sale credit. If they are, cool. But if you're not buying from a dealer and you're buying from a private party, then that is where Keysavvy comes in. No, this is not sponsored. They aren't paying me to say anything. I'm just telling you guys, this is the website I used for this transfer, and it was so easy. They're basically like an escrow. The seller sends the title, you send the money, they fill out the dealer information because they are a licensed dealer, and then they make sure everything's legit before they send the title on to you. You pick up the car, and then they get paid out, the seller. Makes sense? So it's like an escrow. We use it for airplanes all the time. It's a good idea if you haven't done many car purchases on the used car market before. They just handle all the guessing and the questionable things with a car transfer, right? I think they do regular car transfers. It's just ever since the EV tax credit appeared, their business has exploded because they're one of the only people doing it so well and seamlessly and for a small fee. I think it's like 200 bucks, $99 a party. That's it for doing all the paperwork and giving you the point of sale $4,000 credit off. So it's well worth it in my opinion. I don't know, I'll drop some link down below. Who knows, I'll reach out to them. Maybe they'll give JR Garage viewers a discount or give me some sort of a referral code that I can offer down below. But if not, they'll be linked down below just because. I mean, I believe in their product and it's a great website that you guys should definitely use. A lot of people on Facebook are actually very familiar with Keysavvy. You could literally search Keysavvy into Facebook and people will say, it'll have all sorts of hits of Tesla with sellers being like, I'm okay to do Keysavvy transfer if you're eligible, like cool with me. So that's one way to do it. Or if you find a good Tesla that you really like, you can say to the owner, if it's a great deal, like, hey, I'm willing to buy it. I'm really interested. Can we please do this transaction through Keysavvy? It's totally legit. You can look them up on Google. I'm just trying to get the government tax credit. So can we do it that way? And most of the people should be okay with that. So that's definitely how I would do it. I would find a used great deal on Facebook, convince the owner to do it through Keysavvy, handle it all through there. Everything's legit. I don't have to worry about getting scammed, none of that. And then I get the point of sale $4,000 tax credit. That's exactly what I did here. So let's get back to my story. I think I'm done with the whole legality of everything. It is so confusing, but I hope I made it make sense. Anyway, this car right here, smoking deal. So happy I found it. Like I said, I got cruising for Model 3s in California. Luckily, that's a very easy thing to do. They're everywhere. They're on Facebook left and right. Probably like 10 to 20 get posted a day. So I had pretty easy pickings to find a good one at a good price because there's a lot of competition. There's also a lot of demand. I mean, these things sell pretty good in California, but I'm not in Billings, Montana, where there's like no electric cars for sale. So everyone's got a different situation, but in my case, I didn't have to wait long to find this car. So it was posted for like $18,000, maybe $17,500. It's a 2019 Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus with the pearl white exterior, the bright white interior, the upgraded 19-inch wheels. So the lowest range, the lowest power, which right off the bat, I was like, that's like the cheapest Tesla, like shortest range, doesn't have a lot of power, 0 to 60 in like 6 seconds. Like, I don't think I want this one. But the more I got thinking about it, I'm like, okay, this car's for my girlfriend. She's not gonna be some speed racer needing a performance hot rod 3 seconds 0 to 60 Model 3. She just does short trips around Stanford University, going to work, going in the labs, doing her thing. So proud of her. She's crushing it. So she most certainly deserves a nice car for all of her hard work. But she doesn't need the range. She doesn't go on road trips. So the more I got thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? I don't need any of those fancier models that cost a little bit more. I'm totally cool with the standard range. Clean title, nice spec, good car, at a good price. What more could I ask for? So that's exactly what popped up. Get this, a one owner car. That's right, he bought it new in 2019. He has 3 Teslas. He's an enthusiast, really takes good care of his cars. 88,000 miles in case you're wondering. So I was like, heck yeah, this is the perfect car. The only problem is it was in Sacramento, which, you know, that's like what, a 2-hour drive? Got to buy this thing pretty much sight unseen. I basically told him, yo, I'll buy it, but how about we do like 16 grand? And he's like, no, I can't quite do that. Like, let's do 17, maybe 17.2. And I basically said, let's just meet in the middle, 16,600, and you got yourself a deal. And he's like, okay. Cool. So we agreed on a deal, and I told him, hey, I want to do it through Keysavvy so I can get the tax credit. And he's like, okay, I don't know what that is, but it looks legit and I trust you, so sure. So we got that in motion, got that going. He mailed in the title, I sent a cashier's check, and Keysavvy did their thing, and they told him, okay, the car's ready for pickup. So once I got the green light to go out there, I called up Owen and we flew the Bonanza up to Sacramento. So it was like a 30-minute flight instead of a 2.5-hour drive. Oh, the perks of having one of our airplanes in the Bay Area. So the guy was nice enough to pick me up from the airport. I jumped out of the Bonanza, met up with him. There's the Tesla. He's like, here, take it around. Make sure it drives good, you know, make sure you're happy with it. So I did just that. I took it around the block, gave it some good acceleration, some good braking tests, you know, shook the wheel back and forth, listened for any of that suspension rattling, which there was none of at all. The car was just immaculate. I was so happy with it. Far better than I anticipated. So that was it. Then I drove it 2.5 hours back to the Bay Area. It was so nice. Autopilot on the highway. Like, don't forget, these cars have autopilot, even the basic ones with no options. And fun fact, he actually paid for full self-driving for that month. So I was actually on full self-drive all the way back to the Bay Area. She's had it for like 3 months now, and it has been just such a dream. No more breakdowns, no more maintenance bills. So easy for her to drive, and she can preheat the car in the morning and pre-cool it on a hot summer day and remote unlock it when I need to take it somewhere, send me a virtual key. I mean, there's so many cool features with the Model 3. The app is so good. Let me put it this way. A Model 3 from 2018, the UI and the tech in the screen is better than any other competing modern EV, period. That's a hot take. And then if you want it just a little bit better, I would recommend looking into like a 2022 facelift car that has the Ryzen processor and the lithium ion battery. I mean, they're small upgrades, but as time went on, these cars just got better and better and better. So this is my take on which cheap EV to buy to take advantage of the tax credit. Of course, you can buy some other brand. You can get a used Bolt or a used Leaf and do it that way and still get the tax credit. It's not just the Tesla. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Tesla haters in the comment section saying,
"Oh, I'll never buy one of those cars. I don't care if you pay me $13,000. I'll never be seen driving a car built by that evil man, Elon Musk."
Okay, cool. I don't care. If you don't like Elon, whatever. Don't buy a Tesla, I guess. But that doesn't change the fact that this car is such a dang good car. And especially now with the political climate going on with Elon Musk, a lot of people are dumping their Teslas because they don't want to be seen in a Tesla because they hate Elon. So the prices were already cheap back when I bought this thing 3 months ago. And now they're even cheaper because of the politics. So mind-blowing. But which one to get? And fun fact, if you really want to save some money and you don't really care about salvage history, yes, you can go for a rebuilt title Tesla Model 3 and you can save even more money. If it were me, for my personal car, I would probably go with a 2022 with the updated Ryzen chip, the facelift interior, in a rear-wheel drive standard range configuration, because that would then give me the LFP batteries, which I think for a daily driver, being able to charge up to 100%, there are some good pros with that battery. Try to find one that like has full self-driving or something. Maybe I can get lucky. Somebody bought that option so that I don't have to pay for it. Mid mileage, 50,000 miles for like under 20 grand. Then take off the 4 grand with the tax credit. Shoot. If I didn't find this car for my girlfriend, that's the one I would probably look for if it were me. I don't know. I've never driven a facelift car. I don't know, the whole Ryzen processor, I don't know if it's that big of a deal. This one is still lightning fast and really good, but some people say it's gonna be more future-proof, that one. So you also get the black trim and all sorts of other stuff. Oh, there's so much to know. Sorry, I'm trying to cover it all in one video. I just popped on Facebook today and I took a few screenshots. Here's a 2018 Model 3, I think with under 100,000 miles, salvage title, but only 14,000 minus the tax credit. That's under 11,000 bucks for a Model 3. Long range with enhanced autopilot. So like that's a great deal. Oh, here's another one with 308,000 miles for only 13 grand. So that would be 9,000 bucks. Can you believe that? $9,000 for a Model 3. Maybe I should have bought this one so my title would read, I bought a Model 3 for $9,000, but 308,000 miles. Goes to show how well these cars hold up, and that's on the original battery pack. Just to show you guys how easy it is. I mean, here's a long range for $18,200 every time I refresh. Okay, here's one, look, $15,500. Runs great, 302 miles of range. So all you would do from here is message the guy, hey, when did you buy the car? When was it last registered? And if he says, you know, I'm the original owner, 2019, then you know you're good for the tax credit. And then from there, you ask for Keysavvy. Okay, here's a 2023 for $22,500. So this one, yeah, as long as they bought it new, this one would qualify. So this is the Ryzen chip, the new trim, the new interior, the LFP batteries. I would definitely consider this one too because it's got all those 2023 late model goodies. So 22.5 minus 4, 18,500 bucks for this car, I think is just unbeatable. If you guys are eligible for the tax credit, you're out of your mind not to pick up a used EV in my opinion. Here's one for $14,000. By the way, here's a great example of a Tesla that does not qualify for the tax credit even though the seller says it does. He's wrong in two different ways. This car is a 2024, meaning it won't qualify for the used tax credit regardless, but he says right here, effective price would be $30,000 if you qualify for the used tax credit. What are you talking about? It's over 25K, so it wouldn't qualify that way, and the year is wrong. Like, people like this annoy me so much. And yes, you can even get facelifted Model S's for under 25 grand. This one's 19.5, and it has free supercharging for life. And look, he says right there, one owner, so therefore you know this one would qualify for the tax credit. That's almost a good deal. What do you guys think? Should I try this next time with a Model S? And you can also get Model X's as well that fit the criteria. Oh, it makes it so easy when they list they are the first owner of the car. That lets you 100% know the car is eligible.
And here's a deal that I royally missed out on. The best Model 3 deal I've ever seen pop up on Facebook. Check this out, 2018 Tesla Model 3, silver on black, 150,000 miles. Clean title, one owner. And yes, he said he was down for Keysavvy. So that would put the effective out the door price to just $8,400. Are you kidding me? This video could have been titled, I bought a Model 3 for $8,400, which sounds like a scam, but it's not. So yeah, I definitely should have bought this car, but unfortunately I was out of town. I saw it just 30 minutes after it was posted, and I told the guy I'll take it. But like I said, he sold to somebody else because I didn't get down there quick enough, even though he would have done the deal with me. So yeah, it just goes to show there are deals like this popping up on Facebook every single day, so keep an eye out.
And then lastly, if you have money, you're not trying to save a bunch of money, but you still want to get the tax credit and you're willing to spend the extra money for a new car, holy smokes. There are so many good deals going on with Tesla inventory and brand new Tesla Model 3s, like facelift cars. Big facelift. You guys know the new redesign cars, the Highland Model 3 cars. It's a big step up, super quiet, great ride. They really focused on more like a luxury feel for not a luxury price. These cars, once again, I was looking on the Tesla website. Model 3, brand new, 2025, 363 miles of range, long range, rear-wheel drive for only $34,990. I think that's with the tax credit applied already. A Model 3 brand new with 363 miles of range, the new Highland design for under 35 grand. And not to mention, if you use my referral code, it'll get you an additional $1,000 to $2,000 off of a new Tesla. They go back and forth. Last week it was $2,000 off. I think this week is $1,000 off. But point is, if you are interested in buying a new Tesla, please use my referral code. It'll get you a huge savings. It'll also get me some fun perks, so it's a big win-win. And as promised over the years, anyone who uses our referral code will get a free ride in our Tesla Roadster 2020. Well, it was supposed to be here in 2020, but who knows when it's going to come. We're on Elon time with the Tesla Roadster, but whenever we get our Tesla Roadster delivered, we will be giving free rides to anyone who used our referral code. Who knows? They're saying it's going to have like rocket boosters and be able to like go 0 to 60 in under a second. I don't know. It's going to be crazy. Also, lastly, right now, Tesla's doing a special for these new Model 3s where you get 0% financing. Well-qualified buyers will get 0% APR financing for, I think, 5 or 6 years, which is a super good deal. So that combined with our referral discount of a couple grand, combined with you can buy a used demo car with like 500 miles on it and get another grand off. Plus, of course, the $7,500 tax credit. Duh, it's not a used car, it's a new car. So then you get $7,500 off. And then whatever other incentives, if you live in California, I think you get an additional $4K. Point is, when you start stacking these things, it becomes a no-brainer. Even if you don't love the idea of electric cars, you can't deny the fact that they are just becoming insanely good deals with Elon constantly like lowering the prices on them. So without further ado, let me show you around my girlfriend's new $12,600 Tesla Model 3. Okay, now I know you guys have seen the outside of a Model 3, but have you seen the outside of a $12,600 Model 3? Possibly not. So real quick, let me show you around the new ride. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love the specs. Something about the white interior Teslas, especially over the white exterior. Perfect spec for Arizona or hotter climates, of course. Now, of course, there wasn't a ton of options you could get on this car, but the previous owner did spec it with the 19-inch upgraded wheels. In my opinion, these look much better than the Aero wheel hubcaps. I mean, sure, the other ones are a little bit more efficient, but something about this look with the silver wheels, in my opinion, just works really well. Maybe if it was a later year with all the black trim, 2021 with the facelift, they did that, then maybe the black wheels would look better. But here with the silver trim, I think the silver wheels look better. So of course here you can see the tint a little bit better. I think 20%, maybe 35%. So you can still see in it. You're not gonna get harassed by the police, but it definitely keeps a lot of the heat out because it's the ceramic tint and not as many people can see you as easily. So I like that for privacy, especially while my girlfriend's driving. So like I mentioned, the front bumper has PPF, which you can see right there. So it saved it from a couple big rock chips. That's just chip in the PPF. Of course, the brakes look brand new because you never use the brakes. So if we could see down to the pads there, yep, which we can. You guys might not be able to see them, but yeah, right down there, probably, I don't know, 80 or 90% brakes left. And that's crazy for having 90,000 miles. A lot of Model 3s will literally never need their brakes touched, probably the whole duration of the car's life, which is just wild to say. We have tons of tread left on the tires, so probably another 25-30,000 miles on the tires, so I won't have to worry about that. That was nice that was previously done before we bought the car. So yeah, point is, when you see those videos, I bought a Model 3 for $13,000. Usually they're like ex-Turo, ex-Hertz rent-a-car cars, and they're usually banged up pretty good. This car being a one-owner car is really, really special for the price. It was well taken care of. California car, so no rust, no corrosion. It was always garaged. There's no real scratches, dents, or dings even. Those rental cars are usually banged up pretty good. There's a little chunk missing in this tire. Not the end of the world. I think that'll hold. And really the only other thing I've found over these months is this door handle is sometimes a little slow to retract. So take a look. See? Just goes a little slow. It does like close, no problem, but it does just stick out a hair, which is weird. But once you close it, it goes back into place. So that's the only thing. I think that's a common issue, but until it actually has a problem like opening and closing, I'm not gonna worry about it. I mean, that's such a small thing. Other than that, I don't think there's any issues. The interior is held up exceptionally well. The armrest center console tends to get a bunch of wear from people putting their elbows on it, but this one is exceptionally clean, no issues there. Also right here is a common wear point. Another armrest area, also up here, grabbing the door. Even the steering wheel, that's usually another thing that gets pretty like shiny and like used looking, but this once again looks exceptionally clean. So I got really lucky finding a nice car, but overall these cars do hold up well. Now, a lot of people remember when these cars came out, they didn't have the best build quality, one of which being like the huge gaps on the car, but this car is actually pretty nice. Our first red Model 3, that was like one of the first 5,000 Model 3s ever made. It had huge gaps. They were so bad we did have to take it back, and they kind of realigned it and made it a whole lot better. But this car, all the gaps look pretty good. I mean, this is 1 year into production, so I guess they didn't really have the same problems. I also think they went through and tinted this. Actually, no, this part is factory tint, but this I don't think normally is tinted, and it looks pretty dark, so I'm guessing they tinted that as well. They did not tint the windshield though, which I'm happy about. I don't want to get pulled over, and I prefer to have full proper visibility at night out the windshield. Interior and exterior, cosmetically, this thing is on point. But how does it drive? I'm sure you're wondering. Well, as you'll see here, it drives just as good as it looks. Super simple, easy car to drive. I just love how good of a daily driver these things are. Smooth, quiet, easy to use, super quick, all those benefits with it being an electric car. The regenerative braking, my favorite, of course. You never need to use the brakes and it saves energy. All right, first off, even though this is the base car, standard range plus rear wheel drive, the slow one, this thing is still plenty fast. Take a look. I mean, bang. It's just got that instant electric power. So don't think that because you're getting the base model that it's slow. And of course, if you want a little more power, just get the dual motor, or if you really, really think you need the sporty performance, then get the performance, because they can still be had for like under 25K. Easy, sometimes around 20K before the tax credit, so meaning 16K after the credit, which is an absolute robbery. And of course, if you want to see more driving reviews of the Model 3, go watch the gazillion videos on YouTube showing that. But I'm just saying, I've driven a lot of cars and this is still the one that I jump into every day. It just does everything so well. It's so rounded. What in the world is going on? This whole thing's flooded. Another perk about Teslas is because everything is so sealed off, you can drive through really deep water and nothing's gonna happen. But I just washed and detailed this car, so I really don't want all that nastiness on it. So one thing that's important when looking at used Model 3s, especially the cheaper high mileage ones, is you gotta listen for suspension squeaks and rattles. The early Model 3s all had known issues with the front suspension. I think like the control arms and the tie rods, they make little squeaks when you go over bumps. See, no squeaks, no rattles. Once again, I got really lucky on this car, given that the previous owner replaced all of the control arms before I bought the car, because like I just said, they were making a bunch of noises, and around 75,000 miles, he just had them all replaced for the peace of mind. So now, no more squeaks. So in my opinion, that's one of very few things you have to look out for when buying these cars. Other than that, just make sure it was decently taken care of, make sure it's eligible for the tax credit. And the other thing I would do is ask the seller, how high does the battery charge at 100%? If it's getting way under the quoted range, then you might have an issue. So that's an important thing to ask. Just make sure it's going up to, I don't know, just 80, 90% of like the original quoted range. This car being a 2019 standard range, it's quoted at 240 miles on a full charge EPA range, and this car charges up to about 210, 215, which is normal. Just read Reddit, read the forums on Google, see what people say is typical for your mileage, and just make sure you're in that range plus or minus a bit. So higher mileage cars, check the charge level at 100% and check that some of those front end suspension components have been replaced. If the battery's already been replaced, that's an extra good sign, although that's not really mandatory because these batteries should go for like 300,000 miles, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. The older Model S's, yes, that is most certainly an important thing to check for. Does it have the updated drive motor, and does it have a replacement battery? Because those commonly go out much before 300,000 miles. The Model 3 and the Model Y are miles ahead of an old 2013 Model S in terms of reliability and cost to maintain for the most part. And like I said, really the only other big thing to check when buying one of these cars is review the options. That is very important. If the car has full self-driving, that's like a $10,000 option. That is worth a lot of extra money on the used market for that car, maybe an extra $4,000 to $5,000. Other than that, just make sure you're getting a clean car. Check the Carfax, make sure there's not like 12 previous owners, and you'll be all right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I've been wanting to make a video with this car, the $12,600 Model 3, for a long time, sharing with you guys what I think is the best kept secret in the used car market right now. It's not really that much of a secret, but still, there's not enough people talking about it, and I've seen a lot of cars, I've driven a lot of cars, I've owned a lot of cars, and I drive Model 3, and now my girlfriend drives a Model 3 as well. So clearly, I'm not making this up. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So enough of me talking. Go out there, find a used EV if you want to take advantage of the tax credit, or a used Model 3 if you like a Model 3. Go test drive one. Go borrow a friend's to see what it's all about. You'll see when you own one and you drive one, you'll understand what I'm talking about. This is just such an awesome car for the money, and the fact that they're this cheap is just mind-blowing. So I might have to buy another one. I don't know. I might have to buy one to give it away. I don't know. We will see. But I appreciate you guys watching. Comment down below what you think of all the things I said in this video. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care. So long.
Say that it feels right.